Hi guys, and welcome to this extra special episode of Manna in partnership with U2000 to create our U2000 Bake Off. My name is Liam, for those of you that don't know me. I am a theology graduate, I'm almost 25, I'm a part-time artist, I'm a full-time lay chaplain at St Benedict's Catholic High School in West Cumbria. Now, the team at U2000 asked me to lead on this Bake Off. I don't know why, I'm kidding. They asked me to lead on this Bake Off because recently, in the last lockdown, are we still in lockdown? In the last lockdown, I created an online video channel exploring the religious significance of Christian dishes throughout history. And I created that channel so that our kids could engage with the church at home while they're in lockdown, and they could have fun doing that, creating dishes that have been inspired by the lives of the saints, our faith, Christ, the Holy Family. They're inspired by everything, really. And we made things like Simnel cake and St. Lucy's buns, or they're called Lucicata, and St. Joseph's donuts, which are called Zappole di San Giuseppe. And the kids have really engaged with it, but I found that it wasn't just the kids that engaged with it, but our staff engaged with it. People that didn't even go to our school were really enjoying the channels and making things that we were making during our weekly videos. So they asked me to do this, and I agreed straight away because I found that I really enjoy baking. I found that I learned a lot of things about myself while I was doing this, about what I'm passionate about, what I enjoy. Even videography. I'm filming everything right now on my own kit and stuff, but I'm passionate about these things, and I've learned that God has sent me so many gifts while I've been doing that, and it's brilliant to be able to get to share that with you guys. So when I was thinking about what I could make today, or what we could all make for the great U2000 Bake Off, I was trying to think of fun things that could also be directly linked to the church, because I know we can do like the little Easter basket or Easter wreath cupcakes with the cornflakes and chocolate, but there's not much challenge there, and everyone makes those. So I thought, what could we do that is easy, cheap, and lots of fun? So I came up with the idea that we would create Easter models. Now, the Easter models, you'll be thinking, what on earth are they and how do we make them? If you bake cakes professionally, which I don't know if any of you do, you will see that sometimes they create molds of characters or things to add onto their cakes out of Rice Krispies and marshmallows. And I thought it'd be really cool if we could do that today, because we could make it into any shape we want. So that's what we're going to do today, and we need very few ingredients. So we're going to need some marshmallows. We need some Rice Krispies. I've got knockoff Rice Krispies from Lidl. And I've got some chocolate as well, just to coat over the top when I'm done. But I will show you how we are going to do that in a second. But before we get started, I'll just do a quick run over of what kind of kit we're going to need. You'll all have had a kit list and an ingredient list, but I'm just going to double check that you've all got it. We need this big container, or you can use a big pan to mix all of our Rice Krispies and our marshmallows. You need a saucepan and a hob to be able to melt our chocolate down. We need a microwave to heat up our marshmallows, but you could also do it on the stove. We need a spatula, a little egg wash brush, but that's not essential, but I'll explain why later. And we need a mixing bowl and some scales to measure our things. And we need a smooth work surface as well to be able to create our shapes. But what we're going to do to get started, we're going to just measure out our ingredients. So how we're going to do this is we're going to do the rule of 3. Okay, so we're going to have 300 grams of Rice Krispies with 300 grams of marshmallows as well. Okay, so if we measure those out, we've always got to follow measurements, because I have learnt the hard way that if we do not follow measurements, we end up with a messy kitchen. So it's always good to follow them. There's certain things you can use to iron things, but I think it's always safe to follow the ingredients. So that's almost there. So 300 grams of Rice Krispies. What we're going to do is we're just going to pop that in our big container. Brilliant. And then we are going to get our marshmallows and just measure them out as well. I love marshmallows, but I have been trying to go flexitarian recently, just to try and cut my meat down. So I will not be eating this, but I will share it with my family, and they'll really appreciate it. There we go, so 300 grams of the marshmallows. So what we're going to do with these marshmallows is we're going to pop them in the microwave for a minute, all right? And then after that, we're going to take them out and give it a mix and pop it back in for 30 seconds. So if we pop those in here for 1 minute, there we go. So now that our marshmallows are done, we're going to just take them out. And we're just going to take our spatula. We've got to be very careful because this stuff is like super sticky. But we're going to just go around the edges, not right in the middle, just go around the edges and just give that a stir. And then get that off of here. And then we're going to go back into the microwave for 30 seconds. I like to do it in a microwave because there's less risk. If we do it on our stove, then we might burn it. So I like to do it in the microwave. Try not to put this down because it is super sticky, so you'll get stuff stuck to it. But that goes in there for 30 seconds, and once that comes out, we'll be ready to combine to our Rice Krispies. One of the things I was really interested in about setting up Manna, the food channel, was that I have always kind of tried to think of new ways to kind of keep my theology degree in my life. There's very limited careers that I can go into with a theology degree, and it's usually either education, which I'm in right now, or as a member of clergy, and I don't think I have a vocation for the priesthood, but it's all in God's hands, so we'll wait and see. But I like to think of new ways to kind of live my degree out, live the knowledge that I've acquired in my degree. And I do that in my artwork. A lot of you might be familiar with my artwork. I run the Instagram page Art and Fidei. But I also like to do things like this as well. So it's taking things that we wouldn't usually think about and creating something out of it. I've always loved creating things. So now that our marshmallows are out, we're just going to give that another mix, and you'll see that this is super, super fluffy now. This is very hot, so we're going to wait a couple of minutes just to let this cool. But we can pop it into our Rice Krispies now. But we're going to wait a couple of minutes before we even think about going in and mixing it around, because it is super hot and we do not want to burn ourselves. This is quite satisfying, but it is also super annoying because it is super sticky. So again, just watch out that you don't get any of this on you because it is very, very sticky. So now that that's cooled down, what we're going to do is we're going to mix it. So what we want to do is we want to just take the edges of our Rice Krispies and kind of fold them in on top of it. And what this does is it kind of adds a little bit more protection to the marshmallow to cool it down a bit so we don't burn ourselves. So the Rice Krispies, if we fold them in from the edges, will cool it down for us so it's not as hot. Then once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Fry Light or some butter, and I'll explain why. We're going to need this because this is going to be very sticky, but if we spray this on our hands, or again spray some butter on, rub it all in, add a bit more on, what this is going to do is this is going to make it less sticky, so it's going to come off our hands a bit better. What we're going to do is take that off of the spatula. It is still going to be very sticky on your fingers, so just be warned. Be near a sink so you can wash your hands as soon as you're done. Brilliant. So pop that down. And we're just going to get our hands in there. Make sure all those Rice Krispies are combined. It is very therapeutic once you get past all of the stickiness. Cool. So whilst we're doing that, I may as well talk to you a bit about Easter, seeing as we are in the season of Easter. Easter for me is probably my favourite time of year in the church's calendar. I know a lot of people love Christmas because of the presents and things, but I really think that Easter's the big one for me. It just kind of pulls everything together, makes sense of things for me. I think a lot of people may struggle with anxiety, anxious thoughts. We all have the devil whispering in our ear sometimes telling us we're not good enough. And I too have experienced that. And for me, Easter is it's the perfect time to remind me that I am a child of God and I'm loved, and I love the Catholic Church because we have all of these brilliant models around us, all these saints, these fantastic people who have committed their lives to God. And I really look towards our priests and our religious to also remind me of the goodness of God, because without those guys, the church wouldn't exist. And I pray for vocations every day for the church. But Easter, yes, it's a great reminder of all of the things that we need to really look after in the world for me. It brings everything into perspective. It tells me that I need to look after my neighbour. It tells me that if Jesus can lay down his life for all of us, for me and for you, then we can make sacrifices too. And I think that is really, it's such a poignant thing to understand during these difficult times, during COVID, during a world that is broken at the moment. I think this Easter has been especially important to help us understand how we can address all of these negative things that are going on in the world. This is very sticky. Once we've done this, if I can get my hand out and try and get these Rice Krispies off, we're going to pour it out onto our work surface. And what we need to do before then is we need to spray the work surface to make sure that it doesn't stick. We'll see there's quite a few Rice Krispies still in the bowl, but we are going to almost knead this like a bit of a bread dough. And all of those Rice Krispies will be combined once we've done that. I don't think we're ever going to get every Rice Krispie off our finger, but try and get as much as you can off, and then just give your hands a really good wash. I've just got a basin next to me, so bear with me. By the way, I'm on our school chapel balcony at the moment, which is lovely. And if you look behind me, you can see the fells in the distance of the Lake District. I positioned the camera in this angle because if it's slightly more this way, you'll see all of the industrial vents on top of the school roof. Right, so once we've got those Rice Krispies off our hands, give them a nice dry. And then, like I said, we're going to get some fry light or again some butter and just spray our work surface really well, just to make sure that it doesn't stick. And then, very, very careful, because we've still got Rice Krispies there, we're going to pull this out onto our work surface. There we go. Just gets those last bits out of the tub. And then that's us sorted. And then we're just going to knead it on our work surface just to combine all of it, all right? Make sure we get all of those Rice Krispies in. They will go everywhere, so just be careful. But you'll see that this isn't sticking here because we've greased our surface, so it's a very important step to remember. And you can see that we have formed a lovely ball of Rice Krispie marshmallowy goodness. And then this is what we are going to make our models out of. Brilliant. So that is all combined now. We've got our ball here. I've just taken the opportunity to give my work surface a very quick clean. And we've let this rest just for a couple of minutes, just until it all becomes merged together. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start making our Easter models, right? So I was thinking, what kind of things could I make? There's lots of things we could make. We could make models of the Holy Family. We could make a crucifix. We could even make the Easter tomb with the stone rolled away. Lots of things we can make, and that is going to be your challenge, to come up with the most creative idea of what to create with your lovely Rice Krispie treats here. Today, I'm going to make a cross, but I'm going to make the Jerusalem cross. The Jerusalem cross is one of my favourite depictions of the Holy Cross. And I went to the Holy Land a couple of years ago with my university and some friends, and it was just a lovely experience, truly humbling. So I'm going to make a Jerusalem cross, but you can make anything that you want, and that again, that's where the challenge really lies, to be honest. What can you make out of these beautiful Rice Krispie treats that will win you the competition? So as you can see, I've just kind of flattened my Rice Krispie treats out. I'm going to try and bring it into a square shape. And once we've done that, I've just got a knife and I'm going to cut out a cross. Just be very careful because it will try and stick to your knife. Might actually be a good idea to spray your knife with some oil, some Fry Light. And it's great because the Jerusalem cross is a cross and then it has 4 mini crosses attached to it. And that's what these corner pieces here will be. So we've got our corner pieces, just tidy that up at the sides, and then we are going to repeat and keep going. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to creative things. I love straight lines, and sometimes that can be a flaw, to be honest. Sometimes I can ignore God's gifts because I think I'm not good enough when it comes to it. I'm very critical of myself when it comes to my artwork, and I shouldn't be, because these are all gifts from God and they are all brilliant gifts. But it can be a task for us, but we've just got to remember that Christ is King and we've got these gifts for a reason. And the ultimate saboteur, the enemy, is always going to try and tell us that we aren't good enough. And we should never listen to him because he talks a load of rubbish. So I'm just cutting away at this. You can use all kinds of things to create your model. If you were going to create Christ's tomb, you could use a bowl to kind of mesh it over and then take the bowl out after, just to kind of get that tomb shape, which would be great. Onto this last corner, or if you're going to make the Holy Family, you could use all kinds of things. You could use a fork to create textures on Mary's garments or something like that. But we want to see, and I know there's a lot of creative people watching this, we want to see your ideas, your creations, see how good they are, because I know you've all got it in you. Brilliant. So we've got our cross made. I'm just going to tidy that up a bit by cutting off these little straggly bits or pushing them in. And then I'm going to just level it all out to make sure we have some even straight lines. And this is a great treat to share with your family. You aren't going to get much out of this. Well, you could actually, but it is a great treat. So we've got our cross now. What we're going to do, it's fairly level, I think. Just squeeze that together to make sure it's all sticking. There's another edge that needs taken off. Be very careful when you're using the knife. This is a great group activity, so different people could have different tasks. If you were creating something like the Jerusalem cross, someone could be in charge of the main cross while others are in charge of little crosses. But we're going to just set that to the side. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before with these little bits. We're going to roll them out. Well, we're going to press them down. And we're going to try and make a square shape. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut our mini crosses out. Now this might be slightly more difficult than it was with the other one because they're smaller, but it's still achievable, still doable. So the winners of today's challenge are going to be decided by our MCs, which is very good. But we also have like a fan favourite opportunity. What we want you guys to post all of these onto our U2000 page and see who can get the most likes on their Rice Krispie Treat Easter models, which will be cool. Be as inventive as you can. If you want to make a Jerusalem cross like me, go for it. But if you want to make an entire Easter setting narrative kind of thing with the cross and the tomb, and you do that. You do whatever you want to do. This is just a really fun opportunity for us to get our hands dug into something creative, because I believe that creativity is such a vital tool for evangelization today. Now I am just shaping that, just tied our edges up. The cool thing about this is like it's really malleable. You can just shape things with your fingers. And then we have our next cross, which is going to go here. And I'll show you what we're going to do to stick these pieces together, because as you can see, this becomes, it doesn't really stick to anything after it's been created. So we're going to melt some more marshmallows just to stick these bits on to the other pieces, which will be fun. So there's one. And then we're going to take our other corner and repeat the process. So now that that's all cut out and we've put it together, we're going to take some marshmallows and just melt them in the microwave again, just so we have a little bit of glue. You'll see that we actually have some leftover marshmallow in here. So rather than waste more marshmallows, just pop this in the oven for a few seconds. And the bits around the side should act as a little bit of glue. I'm going to use our knife that we were using before, just to stick some on the edges here and here and there and there, just to make sure that it's all stuck together. And then after we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this onto a cooling tray, and we're going to melt our chocolate down, and then we're going to lather it in chocolate so it's one big solid piece of chocolate Rice Krispie goodness. So we're just going to take a little bit of this marshmallow glue and just stick it on the ends of our cross sections here, and then this is going to stick on to our main body of the cross perfectly. So then we stick them on like that, and then that won't move. That's all stuck down. Brilliant. So now that that's done, we're going to move our tray over here, and we are going to bring out our tray with our cooling rack on. So this is going to help us when we're melting our chocolate down, and I've just put some parchment paper under there just to make sure we don't get the tray too dirty. So what we're going to do now is we're going to heat our water up, and we're going to take a bowl, and with our chocolate, just going to break it up in the bag. You can use any chocolate for this. If you have a specific favourite type of chocolate, it's always cool to use that one, because then you know it's going to taste even better. I have just got some chocolate from Lidl. Cheaper. These don't have to be expensive. The whole thing with Manna was that I wanted to create something that wasn't going to be too expensive for the children to engage with, because I know that money can often be an issue when it comes to engaging young people with faith. Everything costs money now, so I didn't want it to be too expensive. So I get most of my stuff from Home Bargains and Lidl, just because it's easier and it's more accessible for everyone. So I'm just breaking up this chocolate. I'll just turn the heat up on my little hob. And then we're going to wait for this to melt down. And once that's done, we're going to transfer that over onto here. And then we are going to melt it all down. Sorry, not melt it all down, we're going to pour it all over. So now that our chocolate is melted, we're going to be very careful because this bowl might be hot. And we're going to turn our stove off. And what we're going to do is we're going to pour our chocolate all over our lovely Jerusalem cross. And the benefit of using a brush like this is that we can sometimes feel that all this chocolate isn't going to reach all over it. So if that is the case, we can brush it. If you don't have to lather chocolate on top of it if you don't want to. You might prefer to drizzle it on. Might prefer to just do the bottoms. You might prefer not to have any chocolate on it at all, and that's absolutely fine. But I do like it lathered in chocolate. The important thing is about Youth 2000's Bake Off is that we see some religious resemblance of the model that you've created. And if you do put it on our social media pages, give us a little description about what you've made and why you decided to make that. So we've done that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that onto this little tray here. You can use a plate or another tray at home if you want, and I'm just putting some grease proof on there because it'll be easier to remove. Because we're out in the wind, I'm going to tuck it under so that it doesn't go anywhere. There we go. And this, mi amigos, is the difficult part. So I'm just going to push So there we have it, our Jerusalem cross covered in chocolate made out of Rice Krispies and marshmallow. I'm sure it's going to be delicious. I'm going to pop this in the fridge for it all to solidify, but I am very excited to see what ideas you guys all have. I've mentioned this several times throughout this video, but I love creativity. I'm very excited about creative things, so I'm also very excited to see what you create. I said before, our MCs are going to judge this, but I will also be having a sneak peek. Please do pop it onto the U2000 Facebook page with a description, like I said before, about what you've created and what inspired you to create that. And also, feel free to tag your images on the U2000 Instagram as well, which is at Youth2000UK, so that we can all see. And if you do an Instagram story, make sure you tag us in that so we can post it on our Instagram so everyone can see your creations and we can get a fan favourite, a public choice award of what their favourite model is. It's been brilliant speaking to you guys and to do this with you all. I am terribly sorry if I've babbled on, but I love doing things like this, so I'm very happy that I've been able to share that with you. I hope you're all having a lovely Easter, and I hope you enjoy what you create. God bless, guys.